Hi friends, it's Mari here for Honeybee Stamps. I'm going to be creating a card for you today, and I'm also going to be showing you how I use the wax seal system from Honeybee Stamps. It's super cool. I'm going to start my project here with a little bit of ink blending. I'm going to be using some peacock feathers, cracked pistachio, and scattered straw oxide ink here with the Art Deco pattern stencil set. This is a set of 3 stencils. I'm using one of the 3 stencils from that set, but there are actually 3. There's a straight background stencil, and then there's also another stencil that has a smaller label section mask in the center. So you can just see I'm going to put that peacock feathers at the top, and then I'm going to blend on the cracked pistachio, and I'll finish off with the scattered straw. So I am using one of the Honeybee Stamps blending brushes and the ink stand to help me out here, and I'm going to blend all the way down there on my Nina Solar White cardstock here to create this really pretty background for my card. So I'm just going to finish off here with some scattered straw, and that's going to finish off the ink blending for this card front. I'm going to be making a top folding A2 size card today for you, and like I said, this is going to be the card front piece here that I'm working on. Just blending that ink on, super easy to do, and just creates a really nice colorful pattern on our background here for our project. So there you can see I've trimmed that down so that it will fit perfectly onto my card base. I've also used the Art Deco label stacking dies to create a little mat for the center area there that's masked off in white. And this is just going to give me a nice little layering piece for the focal point for my card. Now I'm going to take the card front here at this point, and I'm going to add some foam adhesive tape on the back, and I'm going to add that onto my card base with that foam adhesive just to give it a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to just add this on. I'm just going to trim off that tape so that it just fits nicely on the back of my card front. And I will take that release paper off once I've got the entire back of this paper covered. And I'm also going to add a little bit of the Honeybee Stamps liquid adhesive as well, because that's just going to allow me to wiggle this piece around on the paper until I have it in place so that tape doesn't grab right away. So there you can see my card base, just adding this card front onto that base, just making sure that I have it on there nice and straight. Now I'm going to be using this beautiful stamp set. This is the Bold Botanicals stamp set, and I'm going to use a couple of the leaves and a couple of the blooms to create the florals for the front of my card. I'm going to stamp the leaves section and the stems off with my cracked pistachio, which is going to match up with that ink blending on the front of my card. I'm going to stamp out those leafy bases, and then I'm also going to stamp out the blooms that I'm going to die cut out and add onto these stems. So I'm going to stamp the blooms with scattered straw, and I'm also going to use a little bit of peacock feathers to stamp out another batch of blooms as well. So all of the stems are the cracked pistachio, and the blooms are scattered straw and peacock feathers. So here you can just see, again, I'm going to add a little bit of detail to the center of that floral here. And I think I used a little bit of the peacock feathers for that little centerpiece. And here you can see I'm going in with the peacock feather, the cracked pistachio again, just to stamp out and ink up that another one of those stems from that Bold Botanicals stamp set. That's such a beautiful stamp set. You can do all kinds of really fun layering and really cool techniques with that set. This again is another one of the bloom stamps from that set. I'm going to stamp those out with my peacock feathers, and I'm going to take the coordinating die set for Bold Botanicals and die cut out all of these different pieces here. So there's a coordinating die for each one of these different images that I have stamped out here. I'm just going to run these through my Gemini Junior and get those all ready to go. And there you can see the pieces I'm going to use to embellish the front of my project. So I'm going to layer that black, and then I've also trimmed out another layer of that Art Deco label stack dies, and I've also used this, or I'm going to use the Swirling Leaves cover plate, just to add a little bit of pattern and texture to this white piece that's just going to layer so nicely over top of the black. I'm going to glue this flat to that black mat, and then I'll pop the black mat up on a little bit of foam adhesive, again just to add that little bit more detail of dimension to the project. So I'm just going to take my tweezers, my Honeybee reverse tweezers here and add this white matte layer onto the black. Then I'm also going to take some of my foam dots on a roll here. These are really awesome dots that Honeybee sells in the shop. And I'm just going to take each one of those little tabs off the back and I will add that onto the card front, and there you can just see that creates a really nice layered focal point. Now I am going to show you, before I add those florals onto my project, I'm going to show you how this wax seal melting system works. So Honeybee has 4 different sets of colors of those wax melts, and there's 2 different seals. There's a heart and there's a flower, and there's also a little melting spoon. And what you do is you just put the wax into the spoon, you heat it up with whatever, a candle, or I'm just using a lighter here. It was just the easiest and simplest way for me to do this. Melt that until it's completely melted. Now I just put one wax melt in there because I wanted just a little embellishment for my card, and you'll see that here in a minute. I'm using the flower, the rose seal, and there you can just see that it's just going to create that really sweet little embellishment there that you can see on my mat. Now I've got 3 of the wax melts in the spoon. I'm going to heat those up and I'm going to pour those out. I'm pouring them onto some parchment paper, which is sitting on a piece of white cardstock on my desk. And now I'm just going to completely pour that out onto that parchment paper. I'm going to take again that seal and I'm going to press that into that wax, and within seconds it cools and you get this really fun seal. So they're so pretty. And I'm also going to show you here how easy it is to clean the spoon. I just used a baby wipe to clean it up. And here you can see I've also created a black rose seal as well. Really awesome. And I'm going to show you one out of the white as well, and this is the heart. So really super cool. You can make these as big or small as you want. And here you can also see that I have used these florals here as a beautiful little bouquet and finished off with that little rose seal. Now I've taken a sentiment here and I'm going to add that sentiment to my project as well. I really love how this finishes this off. This is from the My Favorite Flower sentiment set, and I will make sure that I leave a link in the description box below to all of these different products that I've used here. Now I did add some of those florals to my card front with a little bit of foam adhesive, and some of them are just flat. So the ones that are more in the front are added with foam adhesive, and then the ones in the background are just added with liquid adhesive flat. You can see I've just added that little rose seal with a little bit of liquid adhesive, and now I'm just taking a little bit of gold stickles to add a little bit more sparkle and shine to my project. And I really love how this project turned out. I really love that wax seal system. It's super easy to use. It's really fun. And if you look at the photograph for this card in social media, you'll see that I also added the black wax seal to the back of my envelope, which is another really fun way to use these seals. But you could do all kinds of different treatments with these wax seals as well. You could add different mediums over top of them to colorize them, all kinds of fun stuff. So they are a really cool product and I really, really love them. They're so much fun. So here you can see the finished card, lots of really pretty colors, sparkle and shine. I like how this turned out and I hope you did too. I'll see you soon, friends. Take care. Stay well. Bye-bye.